Hi there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Prestige Liquids. My name is Andrew, and as always it is fantastic to have you here again with me on another whiskey review show. Now, before I get into this review, I just want to point out that the bottle that I am reviewing for this video has been provided to me by Starward. They did reach out to me a little while ago asking me if I would like to review the bottle. One thing that I always appreciate about Starward when it comes to these kind of things is that I always lay down my condition that I will only accept the bottle if I am able to do the review without any influence on my opinion, and that I'm able to review it as I see fit. And they've always been more than happy enough to agree with that, so I've never had any issue with accepting a bottle from Starward. So being able to have that relationship with them has been it's been a very nice part of the journey. Now that we've got the disclosure out of the way, let's get on with the review, and let me introduce to you the whiskey that I'll be reviewing today. So today I'm going to be reviewing the latest projects release from Starward. This is their Botrytis Cask release. This has had a complete maturation in Botrytis Semillon casks for 7 years. So this is a 7-year-old whiskey. It was filled in 2017 and bottled in 2024. It has also been bottled at 48% ABV. So with that out of the way, let's pour some into the glass and let's see how we go. If any of you would like to be able to see the bottle, that's what it looks like. I must say I do like the Starward's new redesign on their bottles. They have had a bit of a change in the design recently, and it's really suiting the new label designs as well. But enough of the aesthetics. Let's get on with the review. So, on the nose. Alright, so I'm not really getting that typical Starward profile. Normally I will get that Starward banana note, but I'm not really getting that at the moment. Instead, it's more along the lines of a whole lot of stewed fruits, peaches, apricots, raisins, prunes, a lot of those types of rich dried stone fruits. There's a lot of oak coming through now as well. Also notes of fig, milk chocolate, a little bit of licorice, dusty old books and leather. There's some tobacco notes coming through. There's also a bit of a honey sweetness as well, with a touch of caramel and burnt sugar. A little bit of cherry as well. If anything, at the moment, the nose on this has more of a typical characteristic of a bourbon than any other Australian whiskies that I've tried before. It has a lot more of an actual bourbon whiskey influence. Obviously it's not a bourbon cask influence, because this has been aged in a Botrytis Semillon cask, but in terms of the profile on the nose, it is like a bourbon whiskey, which is quite fascinating. Alright, let's move on to the palate. Cheers. I will say my initial reaction to this is not that this is not my favorite Starward release to date, but that's not to write it off completely as well. There are also some very nice characteristics about this. I believe that the 48% ABV is perfect for this. I think any more than that and it would just blow out the flavor profile completely. Good mouthfeel, nice syrupy texture. The profile of those stone fruits that I was getting on the nose they're here on the palate as well, though they are more prominent on the nose than what they are than it is on the palate. You do still get like those hints of like dried peaches and apricots, but at the moment I'm getting more of the taste of like a sour grape, also like dried raisins or sultanas. It definitely has that fortified wine style to it. It's also very earthy. I'm getting a lot of like the oak influence, so it is quite a woody whiskey. There is again those leathery notes as well are very strong. It's quite a dry whiskey as well. Also getting quite a bit of dark chocolate. It actually has a very heavy dark chocolate influence. Again, that vanilla and caramel is still there with those cherry notes and also like a touch of honey. The one thing that's not agreeing with me though with this whiskey is that there's a funk. There's a certain funky, almost I can't even think of what the word is, but there is just this very odd funky earthiness that just keeps coming in. So just as you, at least for my taste anyway, once I get a flavor that I enjoy, then it overlaps with that funk. That's not a flavor that I'm very familiar with. I guess it probably could be something similar to, I guess, what people would describe as like that Springbank funk. When, if any of you are like Springbank drinkers, maybe there may be similar characteristics to that. I believe I've only tried one Springbank in the past, so I'm not too overly familiar with what their whiskies are like. But I think this might be pushing closer to that style, and I don't know, there's just something about it that I'm just not fully agreeing with at the moment. Look, having said that as well, I have really only just recently opened the bottle. I've kind of just gotten it at the shoulder level of the bottle, so maybe over time it will start to open up more. I may even try playing around with it and maybe reducing the ABV a touch and just see if that brings down that kind of funk level and hopefully elevates the fruitiness of it, because I really do enjoy that fortified fruity element to it. That is actually quite enjoyable, but for me it's that funk that comes through. Now, after I first tried this, I did speak to a friend of mine who is very knowledgeable of wines, and apparently that is that funk is actually quite a common flavor profile when it comes to these like Botrytis Semillon wines. So if that is the element or the influence that the team of Starward were wanting from the cask, I guess they got it in spades. They would have, I guess they nailed that profile. For my taste, it's just not something that I'm fully agreeing with at the moment. But like I said, I will play around with it and see if I can try to at least reduce that funky element a little bit more. Now, let's move on to the finish. So the finish is medium to long. Having said that though, it's quite clean. I am not noticing that funk so much on the finish as I did on the palate. Neither did I notice it on the nose. Like I said, for me, the nose of this has been my favorite aspect of it. I was able to really focus in on a lot of those types of flavor notes that I do really enjoy without the funk that I got on the palate, and that does kind of transfer through to the finish. So that funk level has been reduced. I'm getting more of those stewed fruits, so your apricots, peaches, plums. I'm also starting to get a little bit of a citrus zest coming in now as well. So think along the lines of orange and mandarin peel, maybe a touch of a slightly sweet lemon as well. Again, that earthiness of the oak, the tobacco and leather are still there as well. So across the board, this whiskey has a lot going on with it. And if you are somebody that does enjoy like these types of like funky whiskeys, then I think this will be a perfect whiskey for you to have in your collection. But I think I've pretty much said all I need to. I don't really need to go on much more than that, so I'll leave it there. My name is Andrew, and I'll see you all again on the next video. Get this. Well, now, since you've made it this far into the video, why not go ahead and check out some of these other reviews that I have done. I'll see you all again next time. Bye bye.